So a lot of volatility this morning, and I wanted to break down where it was coming from. What's going on, team? It's Ricky with Technical Solutions here with a super quick stock market update. NASDAQ market in the green, pretty much a break-even day. We started off in the green pre-market, and then we pulled on back to a little bit in the red. And then shortly after the ECB, we began to actually recover, surprisingly. This is the part that's just so mind-boggling to me. But first, even before we get into that, for those that are unaware, what is the ECB? This is the European Central Bank. There was a live speech today announcing their next interest rate hike, just like we have on March 22nd of next week. Jerome Powell, who's the head of the Federal Reserve, will be announcing the interest rate hike that the Federal Reserve comes up with. The great thing about this is that it was expected that they're going to be less aggressive because of everything that's been going on with the banks. But they actually announced a 50 basis point interest rate hike, which I think is the right move. They're tackling and moving head on towards tackling inflation down. That's the main focus of the Federal Reserve. But just like it's to be expected for our Federal Reserve, our new expectation is no longer a 50 basis points interest rate hike. Nothing like ECB. It's to be expected that it might even just be 0.25% or nothing at all. And this is the part that's just insane to me. We continue to worry about what happens if these banks fail. How much does the FDIC cover? If you guys look at every bank out there, I just got sent this little graph that was shared on Twitter, and it shows the overall amount of money that is being circulated within the larger banks, and then it talks about how much the FDIC can actually cover, and it's literally 1.24% of what it can cover out of all banks. Pretty much it could cover something like Silicon Valley Bank, but that's just one of many large banks out there. And Silicon Valley is a fraction of what JP Morgan is and or Bank of America. Yet the market continues to rise, right? Why? Why does the market continue to rise? Because of what is expected, that the Federal Reserve is not going to do anything about our inflation rate anymore. And all they're going to do is sit on their hands and wait for things to get better for the banks, right? Because if the banks fail, then we have a much larger issue for all of us as well. And this is, again, right when we think that we're moving in the right direction, fighting inflation, bringing it down. If we don't continue with these interest rate hikes, then that just means that inflation will catch right back up again. It will begin to rise, and we will start this entire cycle all over again. And again, it's because of greedy banks and their inability to make proper investments. And just like FTX, they became overly leveraged. And then, these are banks, right, under the FDIC. We have to protect them. And it's people like you and I that end up paying for it. So wanted to talk about the ECB interest rate hike at the 50 basis points. Talk about next week, March 22nd, 2 p.m. Eastern time is when they're going to announce that interest rate hike. And one of the last things, just to support kind of like the cherry on top, that economic data is not looking necessarily any good. We can see right here initial claims and continuing claims. Initial claims, 192,000 versus the expectation of 215,000, meaning less people are filing for unemployment, which probably means, again, more people are getting jobs, which is normally a good thing for the economy. But again, we want the economy to slow down, right? This is why we want inflation to go down. If we see things like this to begin to pick up, normally the Federal Reserve can justify being more aggressive because with a stronger economy, they can, tolerate a larger interest rate hike. But because of what's going on with the banks, I just wouldn't expect it. So again, market's going up again today for no reason other than we're not going to do anything about our new inflation rate. So excited to follow up. Hope that you guys are too. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And I wanted to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comment section. So what do you think about what's going on with the new expectation of the Federal Reserve to not raise interest rates at all, right? In fear of what's going on with the banks. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Feel free to share it down in the comment section. So I hope that earned your thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. I'll keep you guys up to date with all these different economic reports and making sure that you are aware of why the market is either going up or down for any random apparent reason. I do want to remind you, I do trade live every morning with our Learn, Plan, Profit group, and that is that second link in the description down below. They get to watch me trade live every day if you're part of LPP 2.0. It's one-time payment, lifetime access, and yes, that is that second link in the description down below. And right now we are running our biggest sell. I appreciate your time. Hope that earned your thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.